Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Weez. Today we're going to be getting into part 2, where we watch and talk about Assassin's Creed. What makes it easier is I turn Assassin's Creed games into TV shows. So I play the game with the HUD off, get rid of all the in-between parts that don't matter, and I put together the game edited in a TV show format. So we're going to be going through, we've already done the first 2 episodes of season 1. Each game is its own season, so season 1 is Assassin's Creed, the first game, and we will be going through the 3rd and 4th episode. In season 1 there's 6 episodes, so the first game will be the first 3 videos, and then we'll be moving on to Lineage and then Assassin's Creed 2 with the Ezio trilogy. But for right now, let's get right into it. There's been a few comments from the first video where we watched episode 1 and 2, and some good comments about how the Prince of Persia games became Assassin's Creed. How the next Prince of Persia game was supposed to be Prince of Persia Assassins, and they just dropped the Prince of Persia name and add Creed, and they got Assassin's Creed. We talked a little bit about that.
Let's go, Mr. Miles. Time's wasting.
Where's Lucy?
Oh, don't worry. She'll be with us soon enough.
So why are you doing all this, Doc? What are you hoping to accomplish?
You turned the television on lately? Read the newspaper?
Never cared much for that stuff.
Then, let me sum it up for you. The world's a mess. It's pathetic, really. You've seen it firsthand yourself. 1,000 years between you and your ancestor, and society remains just as barbaric, just as stupid.
And your point is?
Order, Mr. Miles. The world needs order. That is what we're working towards, and that is what you're helping us to achieve.
You expect me to believe you're building a better tomorrow?
That's exactly what we're doing. The human race calls out for direction. They want to know why they're here, what they're meant to do. Well, we're going to tell them. And once they understand how to live their lives, everything will be better.
Better how?
An end to all conflicts, large and small. Isn't that what you assassins strive for? Peace in all things?
I told you, I'm not an assassin.
Right.
I still don't see where I fit into things.
In time, Mr. Miles. In time, you'll understand. Or you won't. I don't care either way, as long as you show us where it is.
Where what is?
Sorry I'm late. Ready to go?
Yes, we are.
You've done well.
So before we get into the rest of this, there's something that I really like about how the writers basically put you in the same position as the protagonist. So Desmond is very clueless as to what's going on, and so as he learns things, you learn things. A great way to kind of explain what's happening within a story is you have one character who is oblivious, who doesn't know anything that's happening, and as you go along through the story, you learn everything as that person learns it. It's a good way, because sometimes you just need to flat out explain something to somebody, and so the best way to do that is to have a character that doesn't know, and so when that character gets it explained to them, the listener or the reader or the player gets it explained to them at the same time. So that's something in story writing that you also have to be careful of, because sometimes you don't want to just sit there and explain away things. You want to actually show things and have the reader or the viewer see them and then understand them and learn about them from seeing them, instead of having some character explain everything to another character. But it's good to have a balance, because some things are harder to just show, and it's better to explain. And so, but then some things are better to show. And so sometimes it's better to have no dialogue for maybe 2 minutes, and it's just showing something. So anyway, let's keep going.
Altair, and I'm confident that this is but the first of many successes.
Tamir spoke as if he knew you well. He implied my work had a larger meaning.
Significance comes not from a single act, but the context within which it is performed. The consequences born of it.
Then is there more I need to know?
Altair, your greatest failure was born of knowing too much. If I choose to withhold information, it is only to ensure you do not make the same mistake a second time.
I see.
No, you don't. And it will remain this way until you've learned your lesson. Still, you have performed competently, and as such I restore a rank and will return a piece of your equipment. Go now, either to Akka or Jerusalem. There are men in both cities who require your attention. The Bureau leaders can tell you more about what needs to be done.
It's clear that Al-Mualim does not trust Altair at this point. It's still quite impressive this game was made in 2007, or it came out in 2007. It would have been made before then.
Ah, Altair. A little bird told me you'd be paying a visit.
Al-Mualim has ordered the execution of Garnier de Naplouse, and so here I am. What can you tell me about him?
He is the Grand Master of the Knights Hospitaller, and surely keeps his quarters in their district. Beyond that, I cannot say. I suggest you search the city. See what you can learn from the people.
Tell me where they gather and I'll see what I can find.
The public gardens north of here, or what's left of them, are as good a place as any to begin. There's an abandoned market northwest as well that merits watching. And Maria of Jehoshaphat's church to the west remains a popular meeting place. These 3 locations should be sufficient for your needs.
I appreciate the information, Rafik. It will be put to good use.
See that it is.
Soon, my friends, soon the good doctor will attend to your needs. Be patient. Hold hope close. There are many in need of aid, and only one of him. He works tirelessly to serve and save, but these things take time.
Someone sure to be killed.
Please don't.
Someone should stop them.
Mercy, mercy. Don't kill me. I'll do anything you want.
You serve Garnier?
He makes me say these things to keep the people from revolting, to give them hope and make them eager for his touch.
Tell me everything you can about the man.
Yes, of course. I know what happens within, what he really does.
Go on.
Not sick, not wounded when they enter, but once he's got his hands on them, then the pain begins.
He's no healer then. Just a sick, cruel man.
I don't know what it is he does to make them cry so loud, but it must be stopped before more are made to suffer. Will you stop him?
It's why you still live.
He is cautious. You must pick the proper time. Go to him when he attends to the patients. He forgets the world around him, becomes lost in his work. Yes, strike then.
I thank you for the information.
Then you'll let me go?
Would that I could.
So this one time, usually when you follow these guys that are preaching or whatever they're doing out in the street, usually they kind of give up information after you beat them, and then they clearly don't feel bad. They don't feel remorse. They only did it because you beat them. This guy was a bit different, where he actually seemed to know that this doctor is doing bad stuff and needs to be stopped, and he's totally down with Altair stopping him, to the point where he tells him everything he needs to know to get close to him and get the job done. But then Altair kills him anyway. I'm not entirely sure why you would kill someone that wants you to do... So I'm pretty sure Altair would kill them so that they didn't run back and like expose what happened, right? This guy, I don't see him running back to the doctor and being like, "Oh, this guy beat me up and I told him this." I think this was a little bit... I feel like Altair should have let him go. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Also, if anybody would like to watch all of the Assassin's Creed games as TV series, I currently just finished Season 7, which is Rogue. So everything that came before Rogue, Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3, Revelations, Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 2, and then this one. If you don't want to hear me talk about it or over it, you can go watch them. They're all on my channel. You can watch them all from start to finish without any... You can basically binge watch Assassin's Creed instead of having to spend dozens and dozens of hours actually playing it to get through the story. Because the games are story driven. They are fun, but also if you're just wanting to enjoy the story, you don't have to play through the whole thing. You can just watch it. So there are other YouTube channels that have turned these games into movies, but they're really long, and some of them are just cutscenes, and cutscenes don't really give you the full story. So I also make sure when I do add the gameplay in, it's only relevant gameplay. There might be like a travel montage here or there, but a lot of the travel is taken out. The to and from locations taken out. That stuff takes up a lot of time, and so I'm actually also playing it in a way where I try to play based on the particular protagonist's character. So if I get into a big fight and it's Altair, he's probably going to try to escape instead of trying to fight 10 guys at once. If I'm playing as Edward Kenway, he's going to want to fight all 10 guys at one time. So you're going to have different kind of gameplay styles from one protagonist to another. And I try to keep within the character's lines, if you know what I mean. But anyway, let's keep going here.
How fares your search for Garnier?
I know when and how to strike.
Share your knowledge with me then.
He lives and works within the Order's hospital, northwest of here. Rumors speak of atrocities committed within its walls.
Also, another thing about turning the games into TV shows is editing. So a lot of people complain that the first Assassin's Creed game is very repetitive, and it probably would be the number one reason that people would say the first game is probably the worst game. But when it comes to editing, I'm able to edit out a lot of the repetitiveness. So if you want to enjoy the first if you're one of the people that think Assassin's Creed 1 is too repetitive, and so you like the story but the gameplay is too repetitive, so you don't like the game as a whole, you could probably go back and watch the TV series that I turned it into, and you'll notice it's not as repetitive. where I cut a lot of the repetitiveness out for the sake of kind of keeping the story moving, but also leaving in the context. For instance, you got to know where the people are, so you have to at least go track down one tail or pickpocket one person at least to kind of get some information. And then obviously you go back to the Rafik and tell him what you know, and then you go out and do what needs to be done. So it's much, much less repetitive than actually having to play it. And so that's one reason I think a lot of people may enjoy actually watching Assassin's Creed 1 as a TV show than playing it as a game. But anyway, let's keep going.
The good doctor enjoys experimenting on innocent citizens. Most of them kidnapped and brought here from Jerusalem.
Clever. By stealing his subjects from another city, he avoids arousing too much suspicion here. But back to the matter at hand. What is your plan?
Gagne keeps mainly to his quarters inside the hospital, though he leaves occasionally to inspect his patients. It's when he makes his rounds that I will strike.
It's clear you've given this some thought. I give you leave to go.
I missed the feather thing.
Remove this stain from Akka, Altair. Perhaps it will help cleanse your own. Rest here until you're ready to begin your mission.
Something you'll also notice from one Assassin's Creed game to the next, like as far as turning them into TV shows, the first game actually didn't have very good music. It didn't have a good soundtrack. There was maybe a song here or there that was good for, a fight scene or a chase scene or something, but overall the music wasn't very good. And so I actually didn't use much music when making the first one. Also, the first game, it was the first game I'd ever turned into a TV show, so it's definitely the worst one. Not that it's bad, it's just the worst one compared to the others. And then when I get to Assassin's Creed 2 with the beginning of the Ezio trilogy, it had a really good soundtrack, and so there's a lot more music kind of in the background during scenes and stuff. So you'll notice if you do go watch each game, all the TV series that I've made, you'll notice that each game or each season gets better and better, because I kind of come up with a formula of how to edit it into a TV show, how to make it feel more like a TV show, and then also just adding more music, more good music from the soundtrack. Because when I initially play and film, you can't play with the music on, like the game music on, because when you have to make an edit, but there's sound, well, now the sound gets cut with the video, and so I usually do it without any game music, and then go in and post-edit, add the music in the right places. Music kind of fits the mood and the emotion of each scene, and so you got to pick the right song. You can't have like a sad scene where someone's dying and be playing like fight music or chase music, right? So you have to kind of pick where the music should. And honestly, sometimes I feel like I do a better job than the game. So when you're playing the game, the music that plays when you have the music turned on, sometimes I feel like I do a better job of fitting in music into the right places than the actual game does. But I'm still using the game soundtrack. It's not like I'm taking music that is not Assassin's Creed music and then putting it in there. I'm using the game soundtrack mostly for copyright purposes, but also because the game soundtracks from the second game onward is pretty good. The first game just wasn't good. It just wasn't. So I decided just to not use as much music. But I think that also could have been a bit of a mistake, because music is, it's almost half the vibe of whatever you're watching. When you watch something without music, it's like watching a scary movie or something, you turn the sound off. it just isn't scary anymore. Music is like magic. It's complete wizardry. It can completely manipulate the emotion of a scene. You could have a scene and it's like not very sad, but you want it to be sad, so then you add certain music that creates sad emotions, and then all of a sudden the scene is super sad, and you get to portray the emotion. So music is important, but when the music's bad, I don't know if it would have made much of a difference if I actually used more music or not. Anyway, let's keep going.
Help me! Please! You must help me!
Enough, my child. I asked you to retrieve the patient, not to kill him. There. Everything will be all right.
No!
Give me your hand.
Don't touch me! Not again!
Cast out this fear, else I cannot help you.
Help me? Like you helped the others? You took their souls! I saw! But not mine! No! You'll not have mine! Ah!
Take hold of yourself. Do you think this gives me pleasure? Do you think I want to hurt you? But you leave me no choice.
Every kind word matched by the back of his hand. All lies and deception. He won't be content until all bow before him.
You should not have done that. Return him to his quarters. I'll be along once I've tended to the
You
others.
can't keep me here. I'll escape again.
No, you won't. Break his legs, both of them. I am so sorry, child. Have you people nothing better to do?
So again, they do a really good job of actually creating the villain. Something I notice is they really villainize him. Like, they make it so you really don't like this guy. Like, so for instance, they could have just dragged him back in that building and the game continues, but instead it's like, no, break his legs, both of them. And then you, like, which just kind of like gets you worked up even more. Like, this dude isn't just bad, like, he is terrible. And then right after they build him up into this really bad guy, they then let you go and get your justice. Because justice is the biggest part of a story is justice. A lot of people think, you know, they want a happy ending or whatever. It's actually justice. People want justice. That's, if there's a bad guy, there's an antagonist, they want the protagonist to have justice. And so they do that really well, actually, in these games.
You are a monster.
I've been called worse.
Move.
Let go
Got
of your
him.
burden. I'll rest now, yes. The endless dream calls to me. But before I close my eyes, I must know what will become of my children.
You mean the people made to suffer your cruel experiments? They'll be free now to return to their homes.
Homes? What homes? The sewers? The brothels? The prisons that we dragged them from?
You took these people against their will.
Yes. What little will there was for them to have. Are you really so naive? Do you appease a crying child simply because he wails? But I want to play with fire, Father. What would you say? As you wish.
But then you'd answer for his burns.
These are not children, but men and women full grown.
In body, perhaps, but not in mind. Which is the very damage I sought to repair. I admit, without the piece of Eden, which you stole from us, my progress was slowed. But there are herbs, mixtures, and extracts. My guards are proof of this. They were madmen before I found and freed them from the prisons of their own minds. And with my death, madmen they will be again.
You truly believe you were helping them?
It's not what I believe. It's what I know.
It just occurred to me that that guy was most likely experimenting on people's minds, probably trying to see how malleable their minds are, to try to maybe to try to understand how the piece of Eden actually, gets a hold of people's minds. I feel like there's more to his Templar antics than they kind of show you in the story.
Catching up to you! I'm supposed to be afraid of you? You're done! Give up! You can't get away from me! Heathen! This is where you die! Look at you! How did you do that?
What news, Altair?
Garnier is dead.
Then you should return to Masyaf with news of your victory.
There is something else.
Speak it then, or would you have me read your mind?
What do you think he wanted from these people? That he would keep them and experiment on them as he did?
Yours is not to ask, but act, Altair. It doesn't matter what he did or why. Only that he's dead.
But Garnier seemed to believe he was helping these people.
Is that what you saw?
No. What I saw was not a place of healing, but of pain.
Then why are we having this conversation?
I don't know. Forget I spoke of it.
I already have.
Have you news for me, Altair?
Garnier de Naplouse is dead.
Excellent. We could not have hoped for a more agreeable outcome.
And yet...
What is it?
The doctor insisted his work was noble. And looking back, those who were supposedly his captives seemed grateful to the man. Not all of them, but enough to make me wonder. How did he manage to turn enemy into friend?
Leaders will always find ways to make others obey them. And that is what makes them leaders. When words fail, they turn to coin. When that won't do, they resort to baser things. Bribes, threats, and other types of trickery. There are plants, Altair. Herbs from distant lands that can cause a man to take leave of his senses. So great are the pleasures it brings, men may even become enslaved by it.
You think these men were drugged then? Poisoned?
Yes, if it truly was as you describe it.
Herbs. This seems a strange method of control.
Our enemies have accused me of the same.
This is kind of an interesting conversation because it actually goes to a deeper historical thing, I guess you could say, where the Assassin's Creed was not necessarily historically accurate, but there was a group in history known as the Hessians, or the Hessians. I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong, but this group of people, they resided up in the mountain, and there was a guy, they knew him as the old man in the mountain, something like that. It's been a while since I reviewed this history, but basically he would take a guy, drug him, take him to a garden full of food and women, and basically what they might perceive as paradise, and then they would spend time there, and then he would drug them again and then pull them out of that place. And then when they came to, it was like, if you want to get back to paradise, you got to go, do this thing, assassinate this politician, or this dude, or this commander, or this general, or whatever, whoever the target was. And so this man in the mountain, he had I guess you could say an army of assassins, and they were known as the Hessians, something like that. I forget what it is exactly. I forget how to pronounce it exactly, but he basically would drug them, show them paradise, and then take them away from it, and then to control them, for them, in order to get back to that paradise, they had to do a certain task, which usually involved them assassinating a prominent individual. So this conversation is quite interesting because they kind of get into talking about that a little bit.
The promise of paradise.
They think it is a garden, overflowing with women and pleasure. That I drug you as Garnier did his men, and tempt you with his rewards.
They do not know the truth of it.
Which is how it must be.
But if they knew the truth of it, that all we seek is peace,
then they would not fear us, and we would have no hold over them. Go. It is time you continued with your work. Another rank is restored to you, as is a piece of your equipment. We'll speak again when the next has fallen.
Safety and peace, Malik.
Your presence here deprives me of both. What do you want?
Al-Muallim has asked.
Ask that you
So this is the first time we get to see Malik, since he returned with the apple. And you'll notice he has lost his left arm, and so he can no longer be a fully functioning assassin. And so they've made him a Rafiq of the bureau, the assassin bureau in Jerusalem. And you can tell, I really like the progression of the relationship between Malik and Altair, because it starts off, you can tell they don't like each other. Then Altair kind of screws him over. He loses his brother, he loses his arm, and so he also just really does not like Altair. But but I enjoy their back and forth and the way they come together at the end. It's a pretty good relationship arc, you could say, between two characters.
From some menial task in an effort to redeem yourself. So be out with it.
Tell me what you can about the one they call Talal.
It is your duty to locate and assassinate the man, Altair, not mine.
You'd do well to assist me. His death benefits the entire land.
Do you deny his death benefits you as well?
Such things do not concern you.
Your actions very much concern me.
Then don't help me. I'll find him myself.
Wait. It won't do having you stumble about the city like a blind man. Better you know where to begin your search.
I'm listening.
I could think of 3 places. South of here in the markets that line the border between the Muslim and Jewish districts. To the north near the mosque of this district, and east in front of St. Anne's Church, close to the Babariha Gate.
Is that everything?
It's enough to get you started, and more than you deserve.
If the guard won't take action, it falls to us to do something.
What you propose is madness.
But necessary. How many more will we allow to go missing before the people take a stand?
It does not affect us.
Not yet. But if we continue to do nothing, it will.
And what do you propose?
I've watched the man. Learned everything there is to know about his operation. It's all here on a map I've made. He inspects his stock every day at the same time. This is when I'll strike.
So you have a piece of paper. It won't save you when you're discovered. Won't shield you from their swords and arrows.
If all goes well, it won't come to that. Anyway, it's a risk I'll have to take. Wish me luck, my friend.
Indeed. You'll need it.
Leave now, or I'll make you.
He's a coward. If it wasn't for the money, I'd be long gone.
You're either stupid or blind. Maybe it's both.
How can you say that?
You didn't see what happened.
I saw well enough. Our caravan was attacked, and the first thing he did was flee.
No, he didn't run.
What are you talking about?
Do you forget what became of the men who attacked us?
Felled by our archers, thanks be to God.
Not our archers, him, alone.
So you're saying he saved us?
Yes, he headed for higher ground. Used his bow to kill them.
I had no idea.
The man's a master archer. You do well to remember that.
Malik.
Come to waste more of my time?
I've found Talal. I'm ready to begin my mission.
That is for me to decide.
Very well. Here's what I know. He traffics in human lives, kidnapping Jerusalem citizens and selling them into slavery. His base is a warehouse located inside the Barbican, north of here. As we speak, he prepares a caravan for travel. I'll strike while he's inspecting his stock. If I can avoid his men, Talal himself should prove little challenge.
Little challenge? Listen to you. Such arrogance.
Are we finished? Are you satisfied with what I've learned?
No. But it will have to do. Rest, prepare, cry in the corner. Do whatever it is you do before a mission. Only make sure you do it quietly.
Salahadin! He has found the strength to stand in defense of our...
So, with this one, I remember having to go back just because there's a conversation that happens with Malik after this where he's all upset because I killed the guy in front of everybody. But when I did the mission, I didn't kill the guy in front of anybody. I killed him on a rooftop. And so I was like, I'm going to have to go back and do it again. And then like chase the guy long enough till he's in front of people and then kill him. And so because you have to, the way you do the missions, so because I'm not recording my gameplay. I'm trying to play the game as I think the protagonist would do things, and then also make sure it all lines up with conversations and the narrative within the story. So I had to go back and make sure I killed the guy in front of people because Malik gives Altair a hard time for killing the guy in front of people afterwards. So that's the kind of that's why gameplay is actually so important to the story. You got to, if you're just watching a video game movie, all cutscenes, you're not actually getting the full story. You might even only be getting half the story. So gameplay is important, but the right gameplay. It can't be random gameplay. Especially with the HUD on and stuff. I try to hide as much as possible, but even when you turn the HUD and everything off, you still sometimes get pop-ups. Especially in the first half of all the Assassin's Creed games. There's tons of pop-ups even if you completely turn all the HUD off. So it can be challenging at times, but it's worth it to try to tell the story in a more believable way.
What now, slaver?
Do not call me that. I only wish to help them, as I myself was helped.
You do no kindness imprisoning them like this.
Imprisoning
Help
them?
me.
I keep them
Save
safe,
me.
preparing them for the journey that lies ahead.
What journey? It is a life of servitude.
You know nothing. It was folly to even bring you here. To think that you might see and understand.
I understand well enough. Show yourself.
So you want to see the man who called you here?
You did not call me here. I came on my own.
Did you? Who unbarred the door? Cleared the path? Did you once raise your blade against a single man of mine, huh? No. All this I did for you. Step into the light then, and I will grant you one final favor. Now I stand before you. What is it you desire?
Come down here. Let us settle this with honor.
Why must it always come to violence? It seems I cannot help you, for you do not wish to help yourself. And I cannot allow my work to be threatened. You leave me no choice. You must die. No more delays! Be done with him!
Yeah. It was hot, no doubt, but now maybe lost.
Kill him already! Such incompetence! What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Keep him away from me!
Kime boyun eğmek istiyorsun? Be gone!
You've nowhere to run now. Share your secrets with me.
My part is plain. The Brotherhood is not so weak that my death will stop its work.
What Brotherhood?
Al-Mualim is not the only one with designs upon the Holy Land. And that's all you'll have from me.
Then we are finished. Beg forgiveness from your god.
He's long abandoned us. Long abandoned the men and women I took into my arms.
What do you mean?
Beggars, whores, addicts, lepers. Do they strike you as proper slaves? Unfit for even the most menial tasks? No. I took them not to sell, but to save. And yet you'd kill us all. For no other reason than it was asked of you.
No. You profit from the war. From lives lost and broken.
Yes, you would think that, ignorant as you are. Wall off your mind, eh? They say it's what your kind do best. Do you see the irony in all this? No, not yet, it seems. But you will.
Of war consume the land, and thousands of lives are lost in its defense.
Altair! Wonderful to see you return to us. And how fared the mission?
The deed is done. Talal is dead.
Oh, I know. In fact, the entire city knows! Have you forgotten the meaning of subtlety?
A skilled assassin ensures his work is noticed by the many.
No! A skilled assassin maintains control of his environment.
We can argue the details all you'd like, Malik. But the fact remains I've accomplished the task set to me by Al-Mualim.
Go then. Return to the old man. Let us see with whom he sides.
You and I are on the same side, Malik.
So, there's actually something to be said here, because so Malik sees what Altair did as a mistake. Killing the guy in front of everybody, he sees that as a mistake because you're supposed to, move in the shadows and be subtle and stuff like this. But what Altair actually does is he shows the people justice, right? So there's this bad guy. He's doing bad things. He's a slaver. He's kidnapping people, selling them, whatever he thinks he's doing good is still causing suffering amongst the people, but he's getting away with it. And then a bunch of people see Altair, an assassin, kill the slaver. That actually kind of gives the Brotherhood favor with the people, right? Because they see an assassin taking down a bad guy kind of on their behalf. And so I think Altair actually, by killing the guy in front of everybody, it kind of makes a statement. Like, you can't get away with your corruption anymore. The assassins are going to get you. Kind of a deal. I actually agree with Altair and not Malik. Even though Malik's stance is the proper Assassin's Creed kind of way of doing things, Altair, whether it was on purpose or by mistake, I think what he did was actually far more beneficial than it was a mistake.
God damn it! What's the problem now?
I'm getting weird temperature readings. I think the Animus is overheating.
Christ, it's always something! How long?
Too soon to tell.
These delays are unacceptable, Miss Stillman. I want progress reports every hour.
So this is also something that had me wondering. So Lucy knows about Subject 16, I believe he was, because Desmond's Subject 17. And so Subject 16 went crazy. I think it's because they had him in the Animus for too long. And so it kind of makes you wonder if Lucy is non-stop trying to kind of throw a wrench in the works to try to make it so that Desmond doesn't spend as much time at a time in the Animus. And so you always wonder, like, is the Animus really overheating in this instance? Or is Lucy just like messed with it to make it seem like it's overheating so that she can stop the session? I'd like to think that's what's happening. But you don't actually realize that's what is happening until much later on in the story. So that's why there's a way to write things where if you were to watch it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, you're actually going to notice things earlier on in the story that you didn't the first time you watched it. So I like that kind of writing because it gives you, they call it, like in gaming, they call it replayability, but being able to watch something multiple times and enjoy it more and more every time you watch it. There's a way to write stories that are like that. And then there's a way to write a story where you watch it once, you got everything out of it. And then when you watch it again, it's very much so the same thing as before.
It's gonna be a while, Desmond. Why don't you go lie down or something? Get some rest.
Why is he always yelling at you? It's his machine.
His theories. He's not the one who built it.
Who did? You?
No. Abstergo has a team of engineers. Not much they don't have. But I did oversee the assembly. Guess that's why he gets so angry with me.
He's a dick.
He's under a lot of pressure. We all are.
Can't believe you're defending the guy.
Warren saved my life, so if he wants to yell a little, let him.
Wait, are you saying you're a prisoner?
When they first approached me, I was finishing up my PhD. The university had made it clear I had no future there. They didn't like the subject of my doctorate, called it pseudoscience. Said keeping me on would discredit and embarrass them. It was the same everywhere. Other universities, companies I interviewed with. Pretty soon I was out of money and out of time. I was this close to waiting tables. Then I got a letter.
From Vidic?
He said he'd been following my career since undergrad, that he believed in my work and wanted to meet to discuss my future. You have no idea how good it felt to hear that. So I met with him. What did I have to lose?
And he offered you a job.
Yes, here at Abstergo, helping out on the Animus project. I'd have a chance to test my theories and prove the professors wrong. How could I turn that down?
I think I'm missing the part where you became a prisoner.
Sometimes I wonder if they weren't behind it all. If they manipulated events so that I'd get desperate. They can do that. They can do anything. I didn't think when I agreed to come here. They even told me I'd be trapped. For 6 months, a year max. Once the product launched, there'd be no need for secrecy anymore. But until then, I'd be a guest of the company. At least, that's what they said.
And when the Animus was ready?
They came in while I was sleeping. 3 guys. Guns. They dragged me out of bed. God. The worst part is I knew them. One guy, Richard, we ate lunch together sometimes. And now he was gonna... He hit me. And that's when he told me I was going to die.
Christ, what did you do?
Nothing. I kept telling myself it wasn't real. And then Warren was there, shouting at them to get away from me. And they listened.
Jesus.
He's not a happy man, Desmond. I wouldn't even say he's a good man, but he saved my life. They never came for me again, and he promised they never would.
You're still stuck here working for these nut jobs.
But I'm alive. Anyway, I really do need to get the Animus repaired. I'll see you tomorrow, Desmond.
What the hell? Someone's been in here. Looks like some kind of access code.
All right. So that is season 1, episode 3. There's some good dialogue there at the end between Desmond and Lucy, where you kind of finally get to learn a bit more about Lucy and how she got involved with Abstergo. Alright, so here's Season 1, Episode 4. Let's get into it.
Rise and shine. We've got quite a day ahead of us.
You're in a good mood this morning.
Miss Stillman has made some modifications to the Animus. You should be able to remain inside even longer now.
And help you with your treasure hunt.
This is serious business, Mr. Miles. I don't think you fully appreciate the work that Abstergo does.
Maybe because I don't actually know what you people do.
We change the world. Every day, in 100 different ways. Did you know that nearly every single breakthrough of the past millennia, be it medical, mechanical, or philosophical, has come from Abstergo or its predecessors?
That's a bold claim, Doc. Think you might be exaggerating a bit?
Not in the slightest. Oh, we certainly don't take the credit. That would arouse far too much suspicion. We choose our beneficiaries with great care.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? It means we're in control.
But how? What makes you guys so special, so smart? That you happen to invent all these things while us mere mortals stumble around like idiots?
To be fair, we don't invent them. We find them.
Find them?
They're gifts, Mr. Miles. From those who came before. We'll have to continue this discussion later. Time's wasting.
Morning, Desmond.
Yeah. Hi.
Come in, Altair. You've done well. 3 of the 9 lay dead, and for this you have my thanks. But do not think to rest upon your laurels. Your work has just begun.
I am yours to command, Master.
King Richard, emboldened by his victory at Acre, prepares to move south towards Jerusalem. Salah-ad-Din is surely aware of this, and so he gathers his men before the broken citadel of Arsuf.
Would you have me kill them both, then? End their war before it begins in earnest?
No. To do so would scatter their forces and subject the realm to the bloodlust of 10,000 aimless warriors. It will be many days before they meet, and while they march, they do not fight. You must concern yourself with a more immediate threat. The men who pretend to govern in their absence.
Give me names and I'll give you blood.
So I will. Abun Nukud, the wealthiest man in Damas, Majduddin, regent of Jerusalem, William of Montferrat, liege lord of Acre.
What are their crimes?
Greed, arrogance, the slaughter of innocents. Walk amongst the people of their cities. You'll learn the secrets of their sins. Do not doubt that these men are obstacles to the peace we seek.
Then they will die.
Another of your items is restored. Take it. See that it is put to good use. Return to me as each man falls, that we might better understand their intentions. And Altair, take care. Your recent work has likely attracted the attention of the city guard. They'll be more suspicious than they've been in the past.
Altair, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Whose life do you come to collect today?
His name is Abu Nakud. What can you tell me about him?
Oh, the merchant king of Damas. Richest man in the city. Quite exciting, quite dangerous. I envy you, Altair. Well, not the bit where you were beaten and stripped of your rank, but I envy everything else. Oh, except for the terrible things the other assassins say about
This guy's
you.
hilarious.
But yes, aside from the failure and the hatred, yes, aside from those things, I envy you very much.
I do not care what the others think or say. I'm here to do a job. So I ask again, What can you tell me about the Merchant King?
Only that he must be a very bad man if Al-Mualim has sent you to see him. He keeps to his own kind, wrapped in the finery of this city's noble district. A busy man, always up to something. I'm sure if you spend some time amongst his type, you'll learn all you need to know about him.
And where would you have me begin my search?
If I were you, I'd start with the Umayyad Mosque and Souk Saruja, both of which are west of here. Further to the northwest is Salahaddin Citadel. It's a popular meeting spot and has proved a reliable source of loose tongues in the past. Yes, these 3 places should serve your needs.
My thanks for your guidance, Rafiq. I'll return when I've gathered the necessary information.
So you gotta appreciate that shot right there. The way you're just looking at a guard, but Altair is kind of hidden behind him. It's pretty cool. You gotta admit. The way he just falls next to him.
The Merchant King provides for one and all. He asks for nothing in return. Let his generosity serve as an example to us all. Everyone should strive to be as he.
I'll teach you to pick a fight.
I'll talk. I've no interest in dying for him. His coin's not worth my life.
A wise decision.
What is it you want?
I've business with the Merchant King.
Ha! Good luck with that. He rarely leaves his chambers.
Why? Is he afraid?
Not fear. Hate. He hates himself as much as he hates the people he pretends to serve. Locks himself away in his personal quarters out of shame.
He can't stay hidden forever.
No. Those celebrations of his. He comes out to speak, to look down upon the people. A sense of belonging, I suppose. However brief.
What's wrong with him that he would hide like this?
You'll see. Now let me go.
Let you go? So you can tell him of my plan?
I won't say a thing.
No, you won't.
Resist! Thousands of lives are lost in its defense.
The last of it has been delivered.
Good. Make sure he also knows it wasn't easy arranging a shipment like this.
It's only wine. Some can be fickle in their faith.
Your holy book says something on the subject, I believe. Leave them that they may eat and enjoy themselves, and that hope may beguile them, for they will soon know. And never did we destroy a town that had a term made known.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind it. Be about your business.
As you wish.
Peace be upon you, Altair. How may I serve you?
I've done as asked and learned all I need to know about my prey.
Then you must share your knowledge with me.
Abu Naqud is corrupt to the core and despised by his own citizens as a result. It appears he's been stealing money meant for the people of Damas and spending it on himself. Even as we speak, he flaunts his greed, preparing for a lavish party. His guards and servants should have their hands full dealing with the guests. They won't even know I'm there.
Most impressive, my friend. The others said you'd make a mess of things, but not I. No, I was sure you'd come through, and come through you have. The Bureau is yours to do with as you please until you're ready to begin.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Please eat.
So I remember filming this at least 3 times. First, I couldn't get the camera angle right for this scene because it kind of forces you to. It doesn't focus on Altair, it focuses on the guy up there. But then there's certain places, if you stand, the camera angle gets completely obstructed. So I had to find the right place to stand. And then once I did that, then I realized this guy just goes on and on. He talks for like 6 minutes. And most of what he says is kind of irrelevant. So I had to find ways to kind of cut down the speech that he gives. Again, just another example of how editing, you can kind of get rid of the fluff and kind of focus on the stuff that's good about the story. So that's what I did here.
Drink, enjoy all the pleasures I have to offer. It pleases me to see you all so happy, for these are dark days, my friends, and we must enjoy this bounty while we still can. War threatens to consume us all. Salah ad-Din bravely fights for what he believes in, and you are always there to support him without question. It is your generosity that allows his campaign to continue. So, I propose a toast then, to you, my dear friends, who have brought us to where we are today. May you be given everything you deserve for it. Such kindness! I didn't think it in you. You, who have been so quick to judge me, and so cruelly. Oh, do not feign ignorance. Do you take me for a fool? That I have not heard the words you whispered behind my back. Well, I have, and I fear I can never forget. But this is not why I called you here tonight, no. I wish to speak more of this war, and your part in it. You give up your coin quick as can be, knowing all too well it buys the deaths of thousands. You don't even know why we fight. The sanctity of the Holy Land, you'll say, or the evil inclination of our enemies. But these are lies you tell yourselves. No, all this suffering is born of fear and hate. And so I say, enough! I've pledged myself to another cause. One that will bring about a new world, in which all people might live side by side in peace. A pity none of you will live to see it. Kill anyone who tries to escape.
It's kind of a red wedding moment there. Poisons the wine and then just starts slaughtering all the guests.
Away from me! Get out of my way!
I'll have your head! Come on, you'll never get away! Move now or be trampled! Come back here!
Take me!
Step aside! Quickly! You're guilty heretic! Stop him! He won't get away!
Be at peace now. Their words can no longer do harm.
Why have you done this?
You stole money from those you claim to lead, sent it away for some unknown purpose. I want to know where it's gone and why.
Look at me. My very nature is an affront to the people I ruled. And these noble robes did little more than to muffle their shouts of hate.
So this is about vengeance, then?
No, not vengeance, but my conscience. How could I finance a war in service to the same god that calls me an abomination?
If you do not serve Salah ad-Din's cause, then whose?
In time, you'll come to know them. I think perhaps you already do.
Then why hide? And why these dark deeds?
Is it so different from your own work? You take the lives of men and women, strong in the conviction that their deaths will improve the lots of those left behind. A minor evil for a greater good? We are the same.
No, we are nothing alike.
Ah, but I see it in your eyes. You doubt. You cannot stop us. We will have our new world.
Word has reached me of your success, Altair.
Abu Nakud's reign of terror is at an end.
I'm glad to hear it.
He killed them. The men and women at his party. It was poison. A coward's tool. Blamed them for the war. Said he wished to end it.
Strange, but then again, the Merchant King was known to be a bit different. Perhaps this was simply a symptom of his madness.
Perhaps.
You sound unconvinced. Speak with Al-Mualim then. He may offer a better explanation.
Yes. We'll see what he has to say.
Come, Altair.
So, when I first played these games, or this game specifically, I was kind of always like, oh, now I have to go all the way back to Masyaf and talk to the old man. Like, between every target, you have to go back and talk to the old man. But when I was kind of editing this all together, I started to realize the scenes between Al-Mualim and Altair are actually, like, the dialogue back and forth, it's actually pretty deep. A lot of the stuff they talk about, it goes much deeper into the history of the times, but also the nature of corruption and power and stuff like that. The conversation here that they have it's just one of those conversations where Altair asks questions, and the responses that he gets from Al-Mualim right away doesn't make sense, but when you really think about them, it's not even that they are particular to this story or this time period in history, but just human nature as a whole. It really speaks to human nature as a whole.
Speak with me a moment.
As you wish.
Word has reached me of your success. You've my gratitude and that of the realm. Freeing these cities from their corrupt leaders will no doubt promote the cause of peace.
Can you really be so sure?
The means by which men rule are reflected in their people. As you cleanse the cities of corruption, you heal the hearts and minds of those who live within.
Our enemies would disagree.
What do you mean?
Each man I've slain has confessed strange words to me. They are without regret. Even in death they seem confident of their success. Though they do not admit it directly, there is a tie that binds them. I'm sure of it.
There is a difference, Altair, between what we are told to be true and what we see to be true. Most men do not bother to make the distinction. It is simpler that way.
So, what he just said there, I guess it depends who you are and how much you pay attention to the things happening in society. But what he said is 100% true, where people will be told something and believe it, and then see something different and still just believe what they were told. Right? And then you have people that just don't care. So they'll just believe whatever the consensus is. So you'll have a large enough people believe what they're told instead of what they see. And then you'll have another big group of people that won't see or be told, but they'll see that everyone else believes this thing. So then they'll just believe that thing. It's if you want to control a population, you don't have to directly control them. You only have to control the consensus of said population. And he kind of talks about it. That kind of gets brought up, I guess, in this conversation a bit.
But as an assassin, it is your nature to notice, to question.
Then what is it that connects these men?
But as an assassin, it is also your duty to still these thoughts and trust in your master. For there can be no true peace without order, and order requires authority.
You speak in circles, Master. You commend me for being aware, then ask me not to be. Which is it?
The question will be answered when you no longer need to ask it.
I assume you called me here for more than just a lecture.
Very well. A rank and weapon are again restored to you. 2 more leaders remain. Go and see to it that their rule is ended.
Begone.
I believe this is the tallest building in Assassin's Creed 1.
Rafik.
Word has spread of your deeds, Altair. It seems you are sincere in your desire to redeem yourself.
I do what I can.
And sometimes you do it well. I assume it is work that reunites us?
Yes. William of Montferrat is my target. What can you tell me of the man himself?
William has been named regent while the king conducts his war. The people see it as a strange choice given the history between Richard and William's son Conrad. But I think Richard rather clever for it.
Clever how?
Richard and Conrad do not see eye to eye on most matters. Though they are civil enough in public, there are whispers that each intends evil upon the other. And then, there was that business with Akkar's captured Saracens. In its wake, Conrad has returned to Tyre, and Richard has compelled William to remain here as his guest.
You mean his hostage?
Whatever you wish to call it, William's presence here should dissuade Conrad from acting out.
I've never been one for politics.
But surely you realize your every action shapes the course of this land's future. You are a politician too, in your own way.
As you wish. Now where would you suggest I begin my search?
Richard's Citadel, southwest of here. Or rather, the market in front of it. You'll find the Cathedral of the Holy Cross in that direction as well. It's a popular place and should be filled with talkative citizens.
Very well. I won't disturb you further.
It's no trouble at all.
They let you come and go as you please. I thought the fortress was closed to all.
Aye, but William wishes to have repairs completed as soon as possible. It's been to our advantage.
The perfect cover. It's clever.
Anyway, I've finished my report and should deliver it.
For once, it seems things might go our way, and not by accident.
Well, the Bible does say God helps those who help themselves.
Nah, it doesn't, actually. That's from one of Aesop's fables. The Bible says quite the opposite, in fact. Many passages on being patient and faithful and waiting for the Lord to decide if he wishes to assist.
Well, I say we've waited long enough.
You'll hear no argument from me.
Very well. I'm off then.
Stand up, friends! Do not allow yourself to be sent to slaughter based on the whims and wishes of an uncertain king. We must rely on men who are stronger in their convictions. Men like William of Montferrat.
You've made a grave mistake.
Stop! Enough! Enough! What is it you want? Gold? I've a few pieces on me. Take them. Take them and go.
It's not gold I seek, but information.
I know nothing.
You know William. Tell me how to reach him.
It's impossible. He meets at the king.
And when will the king be gone?
Today. But it won't help you. They're sure to argue, and then William will retire to lecture the soldiers. So it always goes. Richard berates William, William berates his men. He won't see you.
I already told you. I need to see William. I never said he needs to see me.
Then our business is done.
Not yet, I'm afraid. There's one last thing I need from you.
What is it?
Your life.
Dark days.
So something I'll mention, something that I definitely am happy about, is that in the later Assassin's Creed games, there was a lot more, you had a lot more freedom of movement than in the first one. For instance, right here, I stabbed the guy. I remember doing this. I stabbed him and then I was like, can I run away? And the game does not let you run away right away. It waits till he actually like goes down and then is on the ground. And then it kind of gives you back the control of Altair after that. And then you can run away. If there weren't so many people in the street, I could have made a cut and made it seem like you ran away right after he stabbed him. But then you would have seen people and then all of a sudden different people or the people in different positions because of the cut. And so I just decided just to stand there and wait, I guess. But in the later games, you're able to take someone out and then move or leave right away, which makes sense because that's what you would expect to happen. And there's something about a good story is a believable story, right? And then every little detail needs to be believable to create an overwhelming, believable story. And then when you get a little detail like this where Altair stabs a guy in the street where people are around, he just stands there and waits till the guy goes down, when in reality he would stab the guy and he would leave immediately. So, but at the same time, the game is old. It's 17 years old at this point. So you can't really hold it against them that the gameplay wasn't as dynamic, I guess, or that you had as much control back then during those. I mean, in 2007, this game was like groundbreaking. As far as like open world games go, it was groundbreaking. So back then, no one would have got mad about something as small as that. But once you've played all the other Assassin's Creed games, and you go back to an older one where there's certain things, there's parameters that kind of hold you back from what you're used to, it starts to make a difference for sure.
Indeed. Saracens are routed at every turn. We cast them out of Acre and pushed them from the countryside. Now they retreat to the south.
Oh, it's you, Altair. You scared me. I tried to make a deal with the Citadel guards to leave the gates open even when the alarm sounds. I failed you. So now your only escape from Richard's Citadel will be to climb the fortress walls. Forgive me.
Altair, what brings you back so soon?
I've done as asked and armed myself with knowledge.
Speak, and I will judge.
William's host is large and many men call him master, but he's not without enemies. He and King Richard do not see eye to eye.
It's true, they've never been close.
This works to my advantage. Richard's visit has upset him. Once the king has left, William will retreat into his fortress to brood. He'll be distracted. That's when I will strike.
You're sure of this?
As sure as I can be. And if things change, I'll adapt.
Then I give you leave to go. End the life of Montferrat, that we may call this city free.
I'll return when the deed's been done.
"3,000 souls, William. I was told they would be held as prisoners and used to barter for the release of our men.
The Saracens would not have honored their end of the bargain. You know this to be true. I did you a favor.
Oh, yes. A great favor indeed. Now our enemies will be that much stronger in their convictions. Fight that much harder.
I know our enemy well. They will not be emboldened, but filled with fear.
Tell me, how is it you know the intentions of our enemies so well? You who forsake the field of battle to play at politics?
I did what was right, what was just.
You swore an oath to uphold the work of God, William. But that is not what I see here. No. I see a man who's trampled it.
Your words are most unkind, my liege. I would hope I might have earned your trust by now.
You are Acre's regent, William, set to rule in my stead. How much more trust is required? Perhaps you'd like my crown.
You missed the point! But this is nothing new.
Much as I'd like to waste my day trading words with you, I've a war to fight. We'll have to continue this another time.
Do not let me delay you then, Your Grace. I fear there will be no place for men like him in the New World. Send word that I wish to speak with the troops. We must ensure that everyone is doing their part. Warn them that any negligence will be severely punished. I'm in no mood to be trifled with today.
Yes, my lord.
The rest of you, follow me.
So a quick little fun historical fact. At this point in time, this William guy, his brother was actually in charge, but I forget the name of the brother, but his brother was actually in charge here. And I believe the writers of Assassin's Creed, they switched the brothers' places because William was actually assassinated, I do believe, in history. And so what they did is they just took his brother and switched them and then had it so that his assassination occurred because of Altair. And so it's interesting how there's a ton of legitimate real history and events that happen in Assassin's Creed games, but they change very minuscule things in order to kind of wrap their own fictional story into it and have it make good, proper sense. But then also, like, they'll change a small detail, historical detail, in order for the actual history of things to align more with the fictional story that they've created. And to me, I'm a very, like, I guess you could say kind of like a historical purist kind of a person. But when they change, when they switch the brothers' positions around, because the one brother who was in charge here was never assassinated, but then to make it a little more historically accurate, they actually make it less historically accurate in order to have the brother who was assassinated actually get assassinated. If that makes sense.
Be required to keep it. I have been too lenient, it seems. But no more. You will train harder and more often. If this means missing meals, missing sleep, so be it. And should you fail in these tasks, you will learn the true meaning of discipline.
Also, in this moment, you can take the guy out right away, but then you have to fight all the other guards down there. So I remember thinking, like, what would Altair do in this situation? And then I realized he'd probably wait. If it was earlier in the game, where he was far more impatient and arrogant, I probably would have jumped down there right away. But because it's almost halfway through the story and he's kind of becoming less arrogant and becoming more patient, I figured this would be a good time to actually have him sit and wait for the right moment. So
bring them forward. If I must make examples of some of you to ensure obedience, so be it. The two of you stand accused of whoring and drinking while on duty. What say you to these charges?
My lord, please. We meant no harm by it.
We forgot ourselves. It will not happen again.
No, it won't. Disregard for duty is infectious. It shall be rooted out and destroyed. In this way, we may prevent its spread. Am I understood?
Yes, my lord.
Of course! Stay strong, stay focused, and we will triumph. Falter, however, and you will join these men. Be sure of it. Dismissed!
Get him.
Rest now. Your schemes are at an end.
What do you know of my work?
I know that you are going to murder Richard and claim Akka for your son Conrad.
For Conrad, my son is an arse, unfit to lead his host, let alone a kingdom. And Richard, the Oncino is no better, blinded as he is by faith in the insubstantial. Acre does not belong to either of them.
Then who?
The city belongs to its people.
How can you claim to speak for the citizens? You stole their food, disciplined them without mercy, forced them into service under you.
Everything I did to prepare them for the new world. Stole their food? No. I took possession so that when the lean times came, it might be rationed properly. Look around. My district is without crime, save those committed by you and your ilk. And as for the conscription, they were not being trained to fight. They were being taught the merits of order and discipline. These things are hardly evil.
No matter how noble you believe your intentions, these acts are cruel and cannot continue.
We'll see how sweet they are, the fruits of your labors. You do not free the cities as you believe, but rather damn them. And in the end, you'll have only yourself to blame. You who speak of good intentions.
Stay on it! He's around here somewhere. He's here! He's over here! Search high and low! You die here! You're mine! You die here! What must it be? Einmal schon habt ihr ihn. Nein, noch einmal entfliehen! Don't lose him!
What news?
William of Montferrat is dead, and with him his plans for betrayal.
You've done well keeping Akka from his hands.
But why now, when the Crusaders require unity most? Could have waited.
Waited for what? For Richard to return and discover his schemes? No. It was the perfect time for him to strike.
Strange. I was sure he meant to take Akka for Conrad, yet he claimed this was not his plan.
You cannot trust the words of a snake, which even in death produces venom.
I should...
So I was going to say a little earlier, when Altair was talking to William of Montferrat while he was dying, the Templars, there's kind of a pattern. They kind of pretend to be for the people and with the people right up until the point they actually get power. So they pretend to be something till they gain the power, and then they completely flip and they just become tyrants, basically. You will do as we say or else. Because peace, you know. But at the same time, we also need to recognize that the Templar order in Assassin's Creed is not the same Templar order that we know from history, right? You could say like the Christian Templar order was then it gained power, and then you had like the cultist group from the later Assassin's Creed games, from Origins and Odyssey and so forth. They basically would attach themselves to groups. They would basically infiltrate and take over powerful groups so that they could then seize power for themselves. And so what you actually have is the Knights Templar being taken over pretty much from within by like that ancient cultist group, right? And so some people might even see Assassin's Creed 1 as a very anti like Christian game, but when it's really it doesn't there's a lot of Jewish and Muslim and Christian things that are continually mentioned throughout, but that's because of the time period and the history of what everything that was happening. But as far as actual like Christianity or Islam or Judaism, none of that stuff is necessarily attacked when you understand the context of the story, right? So when they talk about Templars, they're not talking necessarily about like the Christian knight who like traveled to the Holy Land to fight for whatever. They're talking about this group, the secretive group that is infiltrated the Knights Templar in order to take power and control, to sway events in their own favor. And so I think it's important to recognize that's really what's happening in the story.
Discuss this with Al-Muallim.
Yes, my friend. Make haste for Masyaf. I am sure he is eager for news.
Come, Altair. I would have news of your progress.
I've done as you've asked.
Good, good. I sense your thoughts are elsewhere. Speak your mind.
Each man I'm sent to kill speaks cryptic words to me. Each time I come to you and ask for answers. Each time you give only riddles in exchange, but no more.
Who are you to say no more?
I'm the one who does the killing. If you want it to continue, you'll speak straight with me for once.
Tread carefully, boy. I do not like your tone.
And I do not like your deception.
I have offered you a chance to restore your lost honor.
Not lost. Taken. By you. And then you've sent me to fetch it again like some damn dog.
It seems I'll need to find another. A shame. You showed great potential.
I think if you had another, you'd have sent him long ago. You said the answer to my question would arise when I no longer needed to ask it.
So I actually really like this scene because it's kind of the defining point for Altair, where he starts to exercise his value. He is the number one guy. Like he's the number one assassin, which is why Al-Mualim is using him. And he kind of comes to that realization and realizes Al-Mualim doesn't trust me, yet he's using me to do all these bidding. He's using me to gain power. Why does he not trust me? Even though he's the one, he's sending me, but doesn't trust me. And so in this moment, he kind of exercises his value as an assassin. And it just goes to show, like, Altair, he wasn't just arrogant. He wasn't a pushover, right? He knew his value, his worth. He understood things. And then when his mentor is showing that he doesn't trust him by not telling him everything, you can tell he's just like, look, either you tell me or I'm not doing this for you anymore.
So I will not ask. I demand you tell me what binds these men.
What you say is true. These men are connected by a blood oath not unlike our own.
Who are they?
Non nobis, domine non nobis.
Templars.
Now you see the true reach of Robert de Sable.
All of these men, leaders of cities, commanders of armies.
All pledge allegiance to his cause.
Their works are not meant to be viewed on their own, are they? But as a whole, what do they desire?
Conquest. They seek the Holy Land not in the name of God, but for themselves.
What of Richard? Salah ad-Din?
Any who oppose the Templars will be destroyed. Be assured they have the means to accomplish it.
Then they must be stopped.
That is why we do our work, Altair. To ensure a future free of such things.
Why did you hide the truth from me?
That you might pierce the veil yourself. Like any task, knowledge precedes action. Information learned is more valuable than information given. Besides, your recent behavior had not inspired much confidence.
I see.
Altair, your mission has not changed. Merely the context within which you perceive it.
And armed with this knowledge, I might better understand those Templars that remain.
Is there anything else you want to know?
What about the treasure Malik retrieved from Solomon's temple? Robert seemed desperate to have it back.
In time, Altair, all will become clear. Just as the role of the Templars has revealed itself to you, so too will the nature of their treasure. For now, take comfort in the fact that it is not in their hands, but ours.
If this is your desire.
It is. You are restored another rank. Take back your weapon. Use it to bring honor to the Brotherhood.
I do kind of wish that they were official, like, assassin ranks. Because in the beginning, he gets stripped of his rank. He was clearly a master assassin. But then, as he gets given a rank back, we never are told, you know, what the rank is. Like, there's no official, like, ranking, if that makes sense. That always kind of bothered me a bit.
Altair, before you go...
Yes?
How did you know I wouldn't kill you?
Truth be told, Master, I didn't. I took a leap of faith.
Word that the city was possessed of either. Why do you trouble me today?
Al-Mualim has marked Majd-ud-Din for death. What can you tell me about him?
Salah ad-Din's absence has left the city without a proper leader, and Majd-ud-Din has appointed himself to play the part. Fear and intimidation get him what he wants. He has no true claim to the position.
That ends today.
You speak too readily. This is not some slaver we're discussing. He rules Jerusalem and is well protected because of it. I suggest you plan your attack carefully. Get to better know your prey.
With your help, I will. Where would you have me begin my search?
What's this? You're actually asking for my assistance instead of demanding it. I'm impressed.
Be out with it.
As you wish. Here's where I would look. First, to the southwest near the mosque. After that, head south of here. There are 2 locations that might interest you. The southernmost church is one, the other is in the streets, near a synagogue.
Thank you for your help, Dai.
Don't foul this, Altair.
Did you see the order? He wants us to repair a stage for another execution. Today.
It's the one at the western edge of Solomon's temple. I was on my way just now.
So much death.
Worried that our true leader might return and bring a measure of justice to this city.
Yes, and not this mockery Majd-ud-Din parades before us.
How? How does something like this happen?
Everyone appointed in Salah ad-Din's stead is met with an untimely end. And now the position falls to him. He, who was once nothing more than the Emir's scribe.
How convenient. It would not surprise me to learn he was behind these accidents.
Shh! If the guards hear us, we'll be taken for treason. Executed on the very platform we have to repair. Come, let us return to work.
I am sorry, Ahmad. They came without warning.
My son? They have my son? What is to be done with him?
We did everything we could.
What is to be done with him?
He's to be executed. Today.
No, I won't allow it.
But what can we do? Majduddin will hear no appeals. He says there can be no barter with God's will.
This is not God's will, but madness. I'll go to him myself. Where is he?
He will attend the execution. Perform it even. He enjoys the act. A truly evil man.
We have no time to lose then. Let's go.
Praise be, son!
What news, novice?
I am not a novice.
A man's skill is defined by his actions, not the markings on his robe.
We can trade barbs or do...
So right there, he says there's markings on their robe, which would indicate rank, different ranks. He calls him a novice, and then he's like, I'm not a novice, and he's like, you know, your deeds make you a novice, not the rankings on your robe, which means there would be rankings on his outfit somewhere, but not that I'm aware of. So maybe that might have been miscommunication within the development team and the writing team. Just like, hey, yeah, the writers wrote into the story that there are ranking markings on their outfit somewhere, but then the development team never put any ranking. As far as I'm aware, there's no ranking, there's no insignia of rank at all on Altair.
Do Al-Muallim's work. It's your decision.
Then be out with it.
Jerusalem's regent Majduddin is holding a public execution not far from here. It's sure to be well guarded, but it's nothing I can't handle. I know what to do.
And that is why you remain a novice in my eyes. You cannot know anything, only suspect. You must expect to be wrong, to have overlooked something. Anticipate, Altair. How many times must I remind you of this?
As you wish. Are we done?
Not quite. There is one more thing. One of the men to be executed is a brother. One of us. Al-Mulim wishes for him to be saved. Do not worry about the actual rescue. My men will take care of that. But you must ensure Majduddin does not take his life.
I won't give him the chance.
So I hope.
Yeah, there's that shot again.
Silence! I demand silence! People of Jerusalem, hear me well. I stand here today to deliver a warning. There are malcontents among you. They sow the seeds of discontent, hoping to lead you astray. Tell me, is this what you desire? To be mired in deceit and sin? To live your lives in fear?
No, we do not, never!
Then you wish to take action?
We do! Fight us!
Your devotion pleases me. This evil must be purged. Only then can we hope to be redeemed.
This is not justice!
You've no right to do that! Who do you take yourself for?
And all of you stand idle, complicit in this crime.
God curse you all! See how the evil of one man spreads to corrupt others? They sought to instill fear and doubt within you.
but I will keep you safe. Here now are 4 filled with sin. The harlot, the thief, the gambler, the heretic. Let God's judgment be brought down upon them all!
So I remember doing this scene and trying to figure out, should I try to get this guy, like air assassinate, or, you know, move through the crowd? And then I remembered that one of the people that is to be executed is an assassin, and that the Brotherhood will come in and save him. And so I was like, so basically I just need to create a diversion, basically. And so I was like, I'm just gonna get all the guards to fight me, which would create the diversion so the assassins could go rescue the guy up there, and then I would just fight off all of these dudes. It's the one instance that I figured Altair is gonna have to use his skill to create a diversion by making just a big fight. So
Your work here is finished.
No, no! It had only just begun!
Tell me, what's your part in all of this? Do you intend to defend yourself as the others have and explain away your evil deeds?
The Brotherhood wanted the city. I wanted power. There was an opportunity.
An opportunity to murder innocents.
Not so innocent. Dissident voices cut deep as steel. They disrupt order. In this, I do agree with the Brotherhood.
You'd kill people simply for believing differently than you.
Of course not. I killed them because I could. Because it was fun. Do you know what it feels like to determine another man's fate? And did you see the way that...
So this is also something that should be recognized, is that the Templars, the way they do things, and because they seek to control, Templars, the Templar Order, in comparison to the Assassin Order, the Templar Order would attract naturally corrupt individuals, right? People like this guy, he didn't care about the Brotherhood, the Order, any of that. He just wanted power. He didn't kill people because of something the people did or said or anything. He killed them because he could, right? So there's just it's kind of like politics in real life. The types of people that are attracted to becoming politicians are people that seek power, right? People that are naturally more corrupt than your average person, which is why there's so much corruption in politics.
People cheered. The way they feared me. I was like a god. You'd have done the same if you could. Such power.
Once perhaps. But then I learned what becomes of those who lift themselves above others.
And what is that?
Here, let me show you.
Altair is such a badass.
Fighting? This will not end well.
Good day, my friend. Don't let him escape.
Jerusalem needs a new ruler.
So I have heard.
What's this? No words of wisdom for me? Surely I have failed in some spectacular fashion.
You performed as an assassin should. No more, no less. That you expect praise for merely doing as told, however, troubles me.
It seems everything I do troubles you.
Reflect on that. But do so on your way back to Masyaf. Your work here is done.
We done already?
Get up.
Whatever you say, Doc.
I'm ending the session. I'll be right there. You're sure about this? Yes. No. Everything's Denver. I don't see how he could... Of course. I understand. You're in a lot of trouble, Mr. Miles.
What's his problem?
They're coming for you.
Who's coming for me?
Assassins.
Hey, I had nothing to do with this.
Sounds like they're mounting some kind of rescue attempt. Guess you're more important than you realized.
Man, things just keep getting weirder and weirder around here.
It was bound to happen.
What do you mean?
That little fight your ancestor started during the Third Crusade, it never ended. You're being held by Templars.
Vidic's a Templar?
There's no way you could have known. They hide it so well. But to answer your question, Vidic works for them. We all do. Abstergo is their company.
I thought Templars were old dudes with funny hats who sat around drinking beer and plotting world domination with, like, the lizard people.
No, except the part about world domination, I guess. Look, Desmond, it's complicated. Half the stuff they say about the Templars comes from crazy tinfoil hat-wearing nut jobs. The other half is misinformation intentionally produced by the Templars themselves.
But they are the bad guys, right?
If there's one thing I've learned since I started working here, it's that there's no such thing. It's all so relative. I guess the best way to explain it is, what they want is good. But the way they're going about it, it's bad.
Which makes them bad. Like, this is something that actually bothers me in storytelling. Like, there's a reason why Star Wars was so popular, right? It was obviously well produced and everything. But the story itself, it was good versus bad. There was no like, oh, the Sith means well. He just, killed the wrong people to accomplish his goals. It's like, no, the Sith is bad because he killed people to accomplish his goals. Like, you could even argue the assassins, I mean, the reason they have, do not harm an innocent is because they're trying to be the good guys. And when Altair kills the guy in Solomon's Temple in the very first scene in this entire story, it's bad, right? And so when Al-Mualim stabs him and takes away his rank, demotes him and everything, that's justice. Because Altair did bad, right? And so he pretty much gets reset. Now, the Templars are bad. Why? Because they kill innocent people to achieve their goals. That's not one of their, one of the Templar order rules, or whatever you want to call them, is not to not harm innocents, right? If killing 1,000 innocent people brings peace to a city, then they absolutely do it right away. And that's bad. I don't care if what you want is good. The things you do is what makes you who you are. If you're doing bad things, the end goal is irrelevant. You're bad. It's that simple. There's always the question, like, do you save 10 people on a train track or a baby on a train track? It's like, that's like, it doesn't matter who you save. There is no right answer, right? The person, if you save the baby, it's not your fault 10 people got killed, right? Who put those 10 people on the track? It's their fault, right? It's the same thing with you know, people want to blame a gun or people want to blame whatever. It's like, no, it's a person that does something bad. I mean, good and bad is not nuance. Like, newsflash, good and bad is good and bad. There are things that you do that make you good, and there are things that you do that make you bad. What you want or what you say is kind of irrelevant, right? You can say you want all this good stuff and the end goal is just all good, and then you do a bad thing. Well, now, nothing what you said matters because of what you did, right? And I think a lot of writers, they try to make evil a little more nuance. And I'm not entirely sure why they do it. To try to be different, maybe, but it's not like, you can't make good and evil different. It is what it is. So just write based on those parameters.
Really bad.
What are they trying to do? Lucy?
Yes.
Miss Stillman, I need to speak with you. Get up here, now!
On my way, Doctor. I'm sorry, Desmond. I have to go. You should turn in for the night. The answers to all of your questions are right in front of you. You just have to know where to look.
Alright, so that is episode 4 of Assassin's Creed Season 1, episode 4. Alright, so thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I very much appreciate all the support that I get. When people actually watch the whole video, it's pretty much, that's more support than like liking the video or subscribing or commenting. You'll notice I don't really ask people to subscribe and comment and like, because I think I don't need to tell people what they should do. If you want to do something, you're gonna do it. I don't think I need to tell you. Likes and comments do help, but what helps more than anything is just watching the video. If you have critiques, please comment them. Also, if you have more to add to the story, to the history, to the characters, anything like that, let me know in the comments. I definitely engage with all the comments because I like the discussion. And so yeah, make sure to tune into the next one to catch the ending of Assassin's Creed, the first season. And then in the 4th video, we will be getting into Assassin's Creed Lineage, which is the prequel to the Ezio trilogy. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.